Thank you everyone for coming. It's a pleasure to welcome you to our February pitch event. If you don't already know, my name is Aaron. Lindsay's in the back, and it's our pleasure to invite you, or to welcome you here for some great pitches. We have 8 pitches this evening, and a variety of different sectors, industries, and so definitely I'm sure there's something for everyone here this evening. Just to start off, I would like to acknowledge that we're gathered here today on the traditional ancestral and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. We have some amazing sponsors that we wouldn't be able to do this without, so we really do appreciate every single one of them. And we're gathered here today in the beautiful offices of Manning Elliott, who is kind enough to host us a few times a year. So thank you, Mike. Thank you to the team here at Manning Elliott. I'd also like to give a shout out to Ren and Kurt, who are here from BCIT, who are volunteering this evening. Couldn't run this smoothly without them, so thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. We also are partners with NRC IRAP to offer some of the services that we do to the companies. So, and really, how are you communicating your investable business? And that's something that we are proud to work with NRC IRAP on, and really make sure that you not only see great companies, but you hear great pitches as well. Keiretsu Forum is another partner I'd like to highlight here. We sort of see them as our older sibling. They are more that sort of pre-Series A to Series A stage, but we often see companies that graduate and go to Keiretsu after Vantec, and we often see companies come from Keiretsu down to Vantec as well. So they are a great partner if you're looking for other investment opportunities. They have chapters around the world, but Northwest Rockies is our close partner here, and an awesome opportunity for both investors and companies. So for those of you who are new here to Vantec and would like a little bit of info on who we are, obviously you can always talk to Lindsay or myself or any of our members and get the inside scoop. But we're a community. We're here to support innovation here in BC, and especially in a time like we are in the economy, in the sort of uncertain times. Now is the time to invest in early stage companies in your local ecosystem more than ever. So we host BC-based companies. They come from all over BC. We've got some today from Victoria. We often see some from the Okanagan, up north, all over. And so support your local businesses is the key message there. For Vantec itself, we do have a reasonable membership. It's $600 a year for the in-person membership. If you can only join online, it's only $300. That gives you 11 pitch events a year. We have over 100 pre-vetted companies that pitch at these events, and it's an opportunity to build your network of angel investors, promote your programs, your events, and really build this community, build your network here. We also have a really exciting summer social. Last year, it was one of the events of the year. I was very proud to say it was hosted on the rooftop of BDC. We plan to do that again this year. It was a sold out event, so your membership gets you early access to that as well. We use Dealum. I like to highlight this because it is really a great tool for finding the information you're looking for on the companies that are presenting. And so you can see who's coming up to pitch in the upcoming event. You can review their detailed company information. You can also go back to the past events that we have had and look at the company videos, see the companies that have pitched at those ones, and organize your own due diligence. Which companies are you favoriting? Which ones are you sort of diving into? You can even communicate through Dealum as well. So if you haven't already accepted your invite, please do that, and that will give you access to everything Vantec related. We like to do a few community announcements, and so I'd like to make a few announcements here today. There are a couple of really great events coming up, and like I said, if there are any people in this room that have events, if you are a member, you want to promote those, let Lindsay and myself know ahead of time. We'd be happy to put you onto the docket here. Happy to include it in our newsletter, include it on our LinkedIn as well, so definitely let us know. But I'd like to highlight this one by Spring and Penda, and I think it's a really important topic right now. They're doing an online webinar on February 12th, and it's Navigating the VC Secondary Market, a guide for angel investors. And so one to check out. Another one is the VTJ Talks, the Global Risk Playbook, Insights for Tech Founders, and that's on February 26th, 5 to 7 o'clock. Sorry, I'm not wearing my glasses. We also have a startup visa program as part of the Vantec organization, and there is an international expo coming up. I'd like to invite Jackson, if you're here, to just say a few words about this.
Hello, yes, we do have some very exciting events that are coming your way. So the first one is actually the Startup Visa preview event. That is going to occur on the first Thursday of the March. So that's forthcoming, and if you are a full Vantec member, look in your inbox and you'll get an invite. Full Vantec members can participate, and you'll see the greatest and the latest companies that are joining the Vantec family from overseas that our Vantec member sponsors have spent a lot of time, a lot of due diligence to find all over the world and bring it to Vantec, and hopefully these companies can contribute to Canada's prosperity. And as well, we are launching a very new exciting event. It's called the International Expo. That is scheduled for April the 5th, as a Friday. And the idea is there are foreign companies that are always interested to come to Canada and presumably maybe join the Vantec family, and they are looking for investors. And so it's an opportunity for them to try to, acclimate themselves into the local ecosystem here. And so for that event, we are actually looking for event sponsors. So if you're interested, please contact Mr. Peter Wilkins at peter@vantec.ca for more details, and he'll be able to give you more information about the whole International Expo as well as what we're looking for. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackson. I would also like to do a plug for What If Capital. So What If Capital is the fund that Mike Volker and I run to invest in early stage companies. Great synergies between Vantec and What If Capital. We see a lot of the companies that we invest in come through through Vantec. And so we have a few webinars coming up to tell you more about the fund, tell you more about who we are. But I'd like Mike to say a few words here, so if we can pull up the slides for Mike. I'll hand over to him. There you go.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. So I want to invite all of you who are accredited investors to join us in What If. We've been going for over 20 years, and looking around, I see a few of you are already involved, but there's room for all of you, provided you're accredited, of course. I want to tell you just a little bit about it. As Aaron mentioned, we're going to be doing a few webinars, and at these webinars you will learn how you can angel invest with almost no risk. We're going to show you how you can invest $100,000 by risking just $16,500. This is a perfect time of year to do it because it's RRSP season. We've got till the end of February to do this. It means you'll get all of this money back as soon as you file your tax return, probably in April or May. And one of the best things about What If Capital is liquidity. One of the big headaches with angel investing, as I'm sure you know, is that you have to wait a long, long time, especially when you get involved at the very, very early startup stages, typically 10 years or more. We will give you liquidity in 5 years. So that means you can cash in 5 years, give or take a year, and you can roll over, which means you get the tax credit again. So many of our investors have gotten back all of their capital, and they still have 100% of their investment at play. So it's very low risk, and it's really an excellent way to get involved with angel investing. The returns, aside from all of the tax benefit, have been in the 15 to 20% range in the last several years. We also have a very ripe portfolio, so you can already look at the companies that we've invested in and that you'd be investing in, as well as new companies to come. And it's just an excellent way to support entrepreneurs here in British Columbia. As Aaron mentioned, we have webinars coming up, so we've got a number of them here so that hopefully one of them will fit your schedule. It'll be interesting for you to learn just how we do things. I think you'll find it very interesting, very, as I mentioned, very low risk, and a good opportunity for you to really get involved in a very painless way in angel investing. Thanks for your time.
All right, so this is the same link here. It's going to take you to our homepage where we have all of those webinars listed out. You can register through Luma. And yeah, we've got a number of them coming up, so love for you to come. If you'd like to invite others you think might be interested, we'd love for them to come as well. And like we said, the round is open until the end of February. And if you are interested in investing through an RRSP, talk to us sooner rather than later so that we can talk to you about all of the steps with that and what you need to set up beforehand. Or yeah, we will welcome you outside of an RRSP as well. But on to the main event while you're all here today. So we have actually 8 companies. We had one company that got stuck in the weather and wasn't able to make it out. But as I mentioned, you'll find all of these on DLM. You can get their pitch decks, all of the information about them. But we have just 3 90-second pitches, and we got 5 5-minute pitches. And with the 5-minute pitches, we will have Q&A afterwards, so save your questions and think about them as you go so that we can have a great discussion after each of the 5-minute presenters. So, to kick us off here, I'd like to welcome Payman up to tell us about Soshianist.
Hello everyone, this is Payman Islami. I'm CEO of Soshianist. Okay. We have developed an innovative AI-based maritime freight rate forecasting with a team of, including in the part of the team, 5 PhD. We are partnered with MyTax, a leading Canadian R&D organization that bridges the academy and industry. November 2024, we were selected by Canadian International Innovation Program, prestigious government-backed program for the PDA delegation in Singapore. This year we have been chosen as a speaker by Chamber of Marine Commerce Canada, a leading maritime industry organization advocating for innovation and sustainability. Our solution has an average accuracy of over 90%, while traditional method ranges from 50 to 80%. Accurate prediction is crucial for the ship charterers, ship brokers, owners, financial institutions, commodity traders, and etc. with regard to the cost saving, operation efficiency, and risk management. We have been dealing with and talking with the major ship owners and investors in the maritime industry. We have already started TPC with we have already started POC with TPC IMC, and they are potential client and investor. We are negotiating the partnership with Wesen as well. They are a leading company in the maritime industry, and they are doing software. What we are asking is 2 million at a 10 million post-money valuation. That will allow us to reach an expected ARR of 5 million. Thank you very much.
Jacques from Snow Group, I'll let you introduce and take it away here. Jacques, thank you so much.
Thank you, of course. Hey guys, how's it going? Do I just go? Do we clap? Is there a timer? No? Okay, I'll just go. Hi, I'm Jacques Albert. My company's the Snow Group. We're building the Expedia of winter sport and travel. It's an ecosystem that's built for end-to-end skier travel. There's 150 million, sorry, I don't do this often. Go ahead. Yeah. 150 million skiers, 100 million trips, and an $80 billion a year spend. This is a massive underserved niche. Now, skiing is one of the most complex and expensive sports to plan and book. There's no booking system, there's no marketplace for businesses or for skiers. Now we've come up with an ecosystem that combines specialized travel booking tools and a dedicated social e-commerce platform. And in February, we launched this product, and it's gaining huge traction. It recently actually caught the attention of Airbus in Europe, who's building a global booking system for their 150 airlines worldwide. They see Snow Group as a test project and would like to explore this during the Olympics of next year. Now, Vantec is the first angel group we've approached, and we're offering a discount on a cap rate for first to close and a pre-lead on a 500K note. We have 12 months to get this opportunity, so we're asking you guys to join. So let's go for gold and disrupt this industry together. Thank you.
All right, that was Snow Group, and our last 90-second pitch today is Champion. So I'd like to introduce Atefe to tell us more about Champion here. So Atefe.
Hi everyone, I'm Atefe Palisban. I'm the CEO of Champion. We're helping companies thrive in the age of digital twins. Companies across engineering, architecture, and media are using digital twins to accelerate design and collaboration, enhance training and simulation, and engage customers more effectively. But there's a big problem. Today's digital twin workflows are expensive and complicated to set up, and so this makes it inaccessible for many companies. We know these problems firsthand. Over the last 8 years, we've been helping companies, Fortune 500 companies, build AR, VR, and immersive visualization technologies. This gives us a deep understanding of the problems and the know-how to come up with a solution that truly works. And these are the reasons why we created Champion, an all-in-one platform that makes the adoption of digital twins accessible and cost-effective for most companies. The market, we've seen a great traction in the market. Just in a matter of a few short weeks, we've been able to close 3 paying pilots, and we have 8 more companies in our pipeline that we plan to close in the next 3 months. These are medium to large companies across manufacturing, automotive, engineering, and architecture. So we've invested $500K of our own funds to build and validate the core product. We are now raising $100,000 to complete the paid pilots and reach 500 ARR in the next 3 months, in the next 12 months. And we are also EBC eligible. Thank you.
All right, on to our 5-minute presenters here. And so the first, I'd like to introduce a company coming back to Vantec. We've had Ahmad and his co-founder Maka pitch at Vantec in the past, and they are giving us an update, telling us what the company looks like now. So I'd love to introduce Ahmad to tell us more about Viridis.
Okay, hi everyone, my name is Ahmad. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Viridis. Together with my co-founder, Dr. Macarena Cataldo, we're on a mission to empower people and communities to protect water sources. Now, some of you may know we're a water technology company, and for the past little while, we've been focused on the goal of eliminating microplastics from washing machine effluent. But over the course of the past 12 to 18 months, we've expanded that strategy based on feedback we received from our customer discoveries and our technical feasibility assessments. So our evolved strategy focuses on scaling our technology in 2 ways to serve a singular purpose: unlocking infinite water circularity. So our aim here is to scale up our technology to an industrial grade product that can be deployed into textile manufacturing. I'll tell you a lot more about that, and later extended into other industrial applications, and a scaled down version of the technology to be deployed into consumer appliances, to go into washing machines and other appliance manufacturers. So let me just focus on our first market, textile manufacturing. The industry is one of the major contributors to water pollution worldwide. So textile industry accounts for 4% of freshwater consumption worldwide, and it produces 20% of all industrial wastewater. And a main part of the consumption and the pollution comes in the dyeing process. So every kilogram of textile dye requires around 90 liters of water. And as you can imagine, this is a highly linear process. Clean water goes into dye machines, dirty water comes out. At Viridis, our proprietary electro-oxidation technology unlocks water circularity in this process. The way we do that is we install our technology directly on the factory floor connected to the dye equipment. Our system collects contaminated water from the dye machines. It removes organic contaminants like dyes, surfactants, chemicals, and microplastics from the water, and decontaminated water is fed back into the dye equipment for continuous reuse. This market is huge, as you can imagine. So the annual water treatment cost of the textile dyeing is estimated at around $18.4 billion, and that's the market we're going after. As you can imagine, there are competing technologies. Generally, these are centralized membrane or flocculation technologies, but they suffer from a few shortcomings. So generally, they're associated with very high capital and operational costs. In almost all cases, they produce sludge or brine as a toxic byproduct. And this is dirty stuff that requires really careful management and disposal. And in almost every case, they result in between 10 to 30% water loss. To contrast that, our system allows for 100% water reuse without the use of chemicals or biological additives and without the production of any sludge or brine. Now, to get a true sense of what our technology does, I'll show you a little video. So this is our demo reactor, and we put the wastewater into the wastewater chamber. On the right, you see this is our reactor. Inside of that electro-oxidation reactor, there is an anode and a cathode acting as electrodes. And as we cycle the water through our reactor, the electrodes are producing a powerful oxidant called OH radicals. These OH radicals have a unique property in that they can interact with contaminants present in the water, and they fragment and they mineralize them into gas, which is then released from the top of the reactor. And as you can see, we continue this process until, voila, the water is clean. Our focus at Viridis is to scale up this technology. So the system that you see is 2 liters per hour of water treatment. This is our first industrial reactor capable of treating 150 liters of water per hour. In terms of how we stack up against traditional electro-oxidation systems, our proprietary design allows us to deliver up to 60% efficiency and up to 30% lower capex. We own 100% of that IP and do have a range of trade secrets to protect our moat. Most importantly, we have traction. So to date, we've executed 10, as of today, 11 mutual NDAs. We have 6 MOUs and LOIs. We have 4 technical feasibility studies, including a feasibility study with Zara's parent company, Inditex, which is the largest fashion brand in the world. We have 3 in-field pilots being scoped for the first half of 2025, and we're continuing our collaboration with 2 major consumer appliance manufacturers for the market expansion opportunity. Just a little note on our trajectory. This year, our focus is primarily on executing those field pilots, scaling up our industrial unit and getting those certified and signing our commercial agreements. And that's going to result in the launch of the product by the end of this year. So we'll be commissioning the first 2 units by the end of the year, growing sales slowly out to 2027 when we really see this starting to scale. And that will coincide with the raising of our Series A round and the kickoff of the licensing of our consumer technology. This is the wonderful team that's going to do it. I won't spend time on everyone. I'll just say Maka is a PhD in chemical engineering, 15 plus years of experience in water treatment. My background is 8 years plus at Lululemon. And among the team, we have all the technical expertise, industry knowledge, and startup experience to make this happen. And finally, I don't know what's happened to this slide at the last moment, but we've raised $584,000 in our pre-seed round. We've matched that with $1.8 million in government grants and contributions. We're currently raising our seed round. First phase of that is $500,000 to $750,000 angel round. It's a 10.5 pre-money valuation equity. Target closes March 31st. Phase 2 will happen before the end of the year. That will be $2 to $2.5 million full seed round. If you are interested in investing, please come talk to me. If you have questions, happy to answer.
All right, stick around with me here. We'll get into the Q&A here. Now, Kurt's going to come around, just if you want to stand over there, if you have questions. And also, I should have said hi to all of our people joining online. If you have questions as well, feel free to put them in the chat, and Mark will raise his hand on your behalf, and we'll get to those questions. So I will start us off. I don't see any hands shooting up in the sky here. I'll get us started, but Abdul, you do the next one here. But I am very curious about your go-to-market strategy. You talk about some of the big test pilots you've got on the go, some of the LOIs in place here, but who exactly are you targeting first, and why are you targeting?
Yeah, so as you can imagine, the textile supply chain is very, very distributed, right? Rather than going to every textile manufacturer and trying to sell to them, what we've elected to do is focus on 8 global brands that have really strong water platforms in their sustainability strategies. By focusing on those 8 brands, we essentially get access to a market of around 560 to 600 textile manufacturers and dye houses that will basically serve our business forever and ever and ever. And any one of these customers can purchase multiple units of our product. So essentially, rather than spending our time and money on business development, we can invest our money and time into developing technology, and we work with the brands to distribute those to their supply chain. So Zara's parent company is one of our first strategic partners. They have 220 facilities that they work with. That alone could service our business forever and ever, right? And we find that that strategy is really helpful in focusing our attention where it's needed.
I see that you changed your model quite a lot since I met Amaka, and it was really good. But so right now, I see you're focusing more on the industrial end of things.
Correct.
Did you abandon the appliance market?
No, but what we found is there were some regulatory uncertainties around microplastics, and then there was really long sales cycles and co-development processes with appliance manufacturers. So we're continuing, we have 2 partners, Samsung and Whirlpool, that we're continuing some co-development work with. But what we've decided to focus on is we can deploy a lot faster into the industrial side. So I'd say, the majority of our push is on the industrial side.
Can you talk into your revenue and how are you going to be? You sold the machine. How are you going to make money, ongoing service, all that?
Yeah.
And exit strategy also, if you can just.
That's a lot of questions. I'll answer them one at a time, I think. So our model, we have essentially 2 models. And the reason we have 2 models is that different markets require different dynamics. So there's certain markets where the cost of water is high. In those markets, our goal is to provide it on a hardware as a service basis, right? Creating recurring revenues in a service model. There's certain markets where the cost of water is very low, but they still need to adopt the technology either to comply with regulatory or brand pressures or because there's a shortage of water. In those markets, we find that a sales model works best. And because it's a traditional market, some manufacturers just aren't used to service models. They prefer to buy the product. And so we kind of like working with both models. And at the end of the day, we feel like the customer will tell you what your model is. In terms of what our exit strategy is, we've already targeted a couple of companies that are either in the water treatment sector and can use electro-oxidation as a complementary addition, or we're focusing on equipment manufacturers within the textile sector that are already making these large-scale machines and could use water circularity within their ecosystem. So we're kind of taking a dual approach. The size of acquisition? I'll have to get back to you on that. That's more than a 20-second response, so let's take that offline.
Hey, just a quick question. You said that your filter basically interacts with the chemicals inside the water and that there's an off gas. What is the off gas exactly?
Yeah, good question. So it depends a little bit on the contaminants that are in the water, but essentially what happens is a fragmentation and mineralization. The general byproduct is tiny bits of water, nitrogen, oxygen, and CO2 gas. The amounts of CO2, based on the work that we've done so far, is small and much smaller than what the alternative would be in other modes of water treatment.
But net, there is a carbon footprint.
Correct. And the reason for that is like really the contaminants that we are eliminating, we're mineralizing, are all carbon-based, right? So at the end of the day, you're starting with carbon, you're ending with carbon.
If you can can you tell us a little bit about the LOIs and the pilots? Like what are your customers looking for from those to trigger a purchase at the end?
Yeah, really good question, Cam. So in most cases, because electro-oxidation is new to the textile industry, there's first the question of like, does this really work? So our feasibility study with Inditex got us through that hurdle of does the technology work? The in-field pilot that we're now planning with them is the question of, can it be done at scale on the ground in our facility? And so with them, we're planning a pilot at a facility in Morocco, where they require somewhere in the scope of like 3 cubic meters of water cubic meters per hour of water treatment. So we're scaling up to those capacities now. We have multiple other collaborations on the way where we're kind of now expediting the feasibility study and the pilot kind of back to back as a single package to be able to advance those. But really, it's like, can it be done with our water? So we're always using the water from the customer, And then can it be done at scale, connected to our machines working within our process? And in both cases, the answer is yes, but it's just validating with the customer.
All right, I love the adjustment there, the pivot into this new approach. So thank you for sharing that with us. Next up, I'd like to introduce Tom from TubeSpace. And Tom and his partner Garrett have come Gavin, sorry, names are not my strength here. Gavin are coming over from Victoria, so I'll hand the controls over to you and let you take it away. I'll get out of your way.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. We're here to present TubeSpace, the operating system for YouTubers. So Gavin and I have been building software companies together for over 15 years. Our latest company was a company that we built in Victoria that was called GoToMobi, and that was a machine learning platform for advertising. So for those of you who might not be familiar with that, that's nowadays that might have been called an AI system, but back then we called it machine learning. And we bootstrapped that company to about $20 million in 5 years, and we sold it to a private equity fund in the States. So we've been doing this together for a long time. We worked at another advertising technology company before that as well. So we're really excited to be back at it again and applying our methodologies to TubeSpace. So our platform is all about YouTube and YouTubers. So I'll just talk a little bit about why we chose that as our beachhead market. So YouTube is now the world's largest content platform. It has supplanted Netflix and traditional TV, and it dominates just about every niche as far as viewership. But it has also totally changed the way that content is created, of course, and it's created this giant market of over 60 million small and medium YouTubers. And it's within that small and medium YouTuber subsegment that we're already making sales with our product. So those are some of the reasons that we chose this large and growing market. So what is the problem for YouTubers? So high level, there's no operating system tool to help a YouTuber throughout their daily workflow. YouTube doesn't really provide very many tools for them, and there are some third-party tools that YouTubers use, but they sort of fall into two different categories. One is that they're these very narrow tools that aren't tailored for YouTubers, that YouTubers sort of shoehorn into their use case. And the other group is some of the legacy products that are actually built and tailored for YouTubers, but they've become outdated. Two of the largest players have become outdated, so we believe that there's a gap in the market here. And also it's very fragmented. YouTubers are signing up for tons of different platforms and of course paying the monthly fees that go with that. So what is the solution? What is the solution? The vision for TubeSpace is to be the ultimate operating system for YouTubers with tools that help YouTubers launch, market, and monetize their videos. We've already launched our first tool for YouTubers, which is an instant website builder, and we've acquired 5,000 users for that, and converted about 7.5% of them to paid. And through talking to this large cohort of YouTubers, we have been able to develop a larger roadmap. There's lots of features on here, but it can broadly be broken up into 3 groups of features that help YouTubers grow their audience, make more money, and save time. So we're here today looking to raise $700,000 to fuel the next phase of TubeSpace. We think that's going to give us about 18 months of runway. So here's some milestones and financials. So right now we have 350 paying clients, and we think that by the end of the runway period, we should have about almost 3,000 clients and be doing $450,000 of ARR. And of course, we've set out a pro forma model to reach 14 million in ARR over 5 years. And just a couple notes on this kind of trajectory. This is a very similar trajectory that Gavin and I were able to achieve at our last company. And a few of the things that we learned there that we're bringing into this company is really all about our last company was a platform that helped advertisers with their online advertising and really helped them identify those key metrics in both their advertising, but also once those users dropped into their software, to really identify those key metrics that were driving people to upgrade to a paid plan on SaaS products. So Gavin and I have set up marketing systems for our own companies, but also literally hundreds of other companies that are very similar to what we have to do here. So we're ready to do that again. And I guess one last note is that we really feel like this is the type of company where it's not, make an investment and it's build, build, build. This is a company where we're already making sales with our current product. As we add more features, the percentage of people we can upgrade gets even better. But this is a company that we can throw fuel on and see results like literally right away. So we're really excited to get going on that. And that's it.
Okay, questions? I'll come in the middle here. Yeah. Great, thank you so much, Tom. Yeah. All right, so we'll open it up for Q&A online and in person here. Mike?
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. A bit of a personal question, if I may. Yeah. I'm always intrigued by entrepreneurs who present who have had successful exits and why you're not in a position to fund it yourselves.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, so we did have quite a successful exit. When what happened in our sort of journey was we had a little bit of a dip in our last company and we sold it at maybe not the optimal time. It was still a fantastic exit and a life-changing event for Gavin and I, but we don't feel like we have all the money to put into this particular company. Like our plan here is to have a seed round and also a Series A. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is that we bootstrapped our last company, and although it did very well, there was some competitors that came up and raised money and did things that we couldn't do, did things faster, did things better, and they ended up in an even better position. So we don't want to miss that opportunity on this company.
Thank you.
Throw fuel on the fire, right?
Yeah, that's
All
right.
We got a couple questions here.
So Emily is asking, how are you marketing?
So right now, we've been able to acquire our 5,000 users with a really basic Facebook campaign. So as I mentioned, Gavin and I are ad guys. We've built our companies around that. So that's naturally where we went to first. But I guess what I can say about that is this particular campaign is super basic. If anybody does Facebook advertising, it's literally we threw it out there and it just started converting. Our conversions come in at a great price and we can kind of just turn up the dial right now. There's obviously a lot more work to do to set up the types of systems that we set up at our last company. But that's what we've done so far is just some really basic Facebook advertising.
One more question here. Pave is asking, what is the main problem you're solving? Is it YouTube websites? There looked like a lot of features. Can you touch on the value prop?
Yeah, absolutely. So we started with our first tool, which is a website for YouTubers. So if they want a companion blog or a website to have their own home base online, they just type in their YouTube channel and it builds a whole website for them in like 30 seconds. But really quickly after talking to hundreds of YouTubers, we started to ask them what they were using with other tools that they were using, what they would find value in as far as other tools that we could build, and we came up with this roadmap. So I guess like the value proposition is that it's a one-stop shop for YouTubers. Right now, they're cobbling together a whole bunch of tools. It's not like they're not out there already paying for things. They are, but it's quite a cumbersome experience for them. So, I mean, this is the 22nd version of that. If you want to know more about what our plan is and why we think these particular set of features are the ones that they're going to upgrade for, we can talk more about that. But basically, the point is to have a one-stop shop operating system for them.
Within the YouTube creator universe, what percentage of these creators are currently paying for a tool?
So it's a hard number to come by, but the sort of the proxy that I would use for that is some of the legacy tools that I showed that are YouTubers. One of them has up to 20 million. So there's currently about 65 million YouTubers in total. So you can see there, it's about a third are paying for that tool alone. There's lots of other tools out there as well, so it's at least a third. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah. We've got one at the back there. We'll go with Ulrich for a final question.
What's your exit strategy?
So that's a good question. I guess you know, the two ways that we're thinking about it at this point is, so a larger creator type platform. So there's a whole bunch, like there's Kajabi is a large platform for all kinds of creators. Patreon is another, you know, multi-billion-dollar company that markets to YouTubers. So a strategic acquisition like that is a possibility. And of course, if it's pumping out EBITDA, you know, hopefully there's private equity funds that want to take a look as well.
Thank you so much. All right. Next up, I'd like to introduce Victor to tell us more about Sepura.
Everyone, yeah, my name is Victor. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Sepura. So my story starts with a dinner party where I learned the hard way that you can't put a bunch of potato peels in your garbage disposal. Or how's this? So yeah, started with a dinner party where I learned the hard way you can't put a bunch of potato peels into carburetors. That's what we call them here. And while I was in the middle of disassembling my entire kitchen piping, it was an old building, and I was Googling and YouTubing a bunch of stuff how to fix it. I found out that carburetors are actually getting banned. They're kind of an outdated technology, and they're just a huge burden on our infrastructure. The best alternative to carburetors is this smelly bucket on your kitchen counter that nobody likes to use. I hated it, so that's why I came up with Sepura. So Sepura is a device just like a carburetor that attaches below your kitchen sink, but the difference is that when you turn it on, it separates the solids from the liquids, the solids going into a sealed odorless bin underneath your sink. So we've launched a beta unit to test that concept, and we've sold over 1.2 million in sales, but really the objective of this beta unit was to learn as much from our customers as possible. And along the way, we've raised money from Blanco and Simple Human. We're also in discussions with some other industry leaders like Kohler and Teca. So if you guys are curious on how this device actually works, here's a little animation. But really the important thing that we learned from our customers was that 65% of them are on septic fields. Our customers were also asking for something more compact, easier to install, better control, and a lower price. So we took everything that we learned, and we're launching the next gen of our product. We call it Root. And this is in fact more compact. It's IoT enabled, much easier to install, and we were able to reduce the price. So we're launching this into a $100 billion market with insights that nobody else has at the moment. It's been a long journey to get to Root, lots of failures, but we learned a lot along the way. We learned how to set up a supply chain. We learned how to manufacture a product. We learned how to distribute, really how to sell this product. So at this point, we're taking all those learnings and putting it in Root, and that's how we'll be launching it. And as an investor, you would be investing in a team that has done it before and is about to do it again, even better. So we protect ourselves with our patent, with a few more along the way. We also have our firmware and some trade secrets. The business opportunity here is really that carburetors are getting banned. They're actually banned globally. North America is really the last place you'll still see them. And compost mandates are just going up. Even the US and Canada, bans of carburetors going up every single year. You don't really see them in Vancouver anymore. While all of that is happening, Sepura and Root is allowed everywhere. And it's just a lot easier to compost using our device. There's a few market segments here, but really at launch, we'll be targeting that 65% I mentioned. So customers on septic fields, they're a large segment, but really we're targeting them because they have the largest pain. If you're on a septic field, you know that anything that you send down the drain, you're gonna have some maintenance fees for it. So you can't put any food down your sink. So these customers are actively looking for a device like ours before even knowing that we exist. In the long run, we wanna be a B2B company. This is selling to distributors who then sell to residential developers. But first we wanna establish our D2C channels just to build some reputation for our products and credibility there. But also the sales cycle is 2 to 3 years. Of course, we'll be leveraging our contacts at Blanco and at Simple Human, and also at discussions we're having with Kohler and Teca. So we're doing that with Root. We were able to bring down our COGS by 51%, and also, really reach 80% margin, which is super important for us. That brings us to profitability. We did that while also reducing the cost to our customer by 25%. So we're raising $1 million to launch Root, scale, and sell 1.5 million by the end of this year, and really target that septic field market. Our terms are 12 million pre-money valuation, and most likely exit is an acquisition from an industry leader like Kohler. Thank you.
Still the silver will share. Victor, thank you so much for that. I'll open it up for questions here. Grong, did you have a question? Go ahead, Kurt.
How do you quantify the lifetime customer value? I see you have a CLTV there.
Right. So we also have some consumables for the product. So when you buy Sepura, you're using bags. There's a carbon filter which catches all the odors. We also have some add-ons. People like buttons that match their faucet and things like that. So most of our customers get the carbon filters in the bags. That's a subscription. And some will also get those add-ons as well. So that adds to the cost over time.
Fantastic. Thank you for that question, Mark.
Question online from Pave. What's your biggest challenge? And can anyone install, or do you need a plumber?
My biggest challenge, I'm sure all the founders here would know this. We have a ton, but as a customer, yeah, I'd say most customers get a plumber to install it. But some try to install it themselves, and it's just, kind of measuring their sink beforehand, making sure it fits. But our device gets installed just as easily as a carburetor.
I have a question, Peter. Oh, sorry, just wait for the microphone for the online.
So the water goes down the drain. What about the solid waste? How is that handled?
So the solids, so you can see that the water going down the piping, that's like your plumbing as usual. So you can use your sink like normal, just like with a carburetor. But then those solids get pushed to the left into that bin there. So it's kind of like if you had, if you ever use one of those juicers, it's kind of gross when you think of it with food waste, but it does squeeze it and push it forward into that bucket. So that's what does the separation of solids and liquids.
Aaron.
Yes, we've got a question. Go ahead.
Just more on the recurring. Similarly with like sparkling water and things like that. I've done a delivery service for it. It tends to be a real pain in the butt. Is there other ways to get those products? Because I'm assuming you're going to need the bags and things like that so that it fits properly and such. So can you get that at Canadian Tire, or do you need the subscription?
You can. Yeah. What we tell our customers is that you can definitely get them. They're at Save On and Thrifties and all of those. They won't fit well and they break. Everybody hates those bags that you pick up, like the compost and everything breaks below. It's a nightmare. Ours are just industrial grade, and so they don't break, so you can carry it downstairs. And and the carbon filter, you could buy a giant sheet on Amazon. Very true. Nobody does that. But you have to buy a giant sheet and cut it and shape it, put it in your device. And ours are just, we vetted all the vendors for the carbon filters. It took us a while to do that and find the best ones. No, you can't buy those in the store. That's a step really beyond there if you wanted to do everything yourself, but you could. You definitely could.
All right, we've got one more question at the back here, Kurt, if you wouldn't mind.
I think I have two questions. One question is on the bags, are they a requirement? If we have a plastic bin the product's going into, can't I just carry my bin downstairs or out into my green refuge and dump the bin and not have to deal with the bag? And the second question is, have you explored at all any type of government subsidies on green and getting people to get rid, some sort of a government incentive to incentivize people to get rid of the carburetors?
Yeah. Okay, to answer the bags first, no, I know that some regions don't actually allow bags, so our device is made to handle it without bags. So we've got a nice stick-free coating in there. People will just get the add-ons and the carbon filters. Yeah, as for regulations, there's definitely a lot of opportunities there. We've spoken to Metro Vancouver, CRD in Victoria, and we just call cities around the place. New York is a big one as well, where they really want a product like ours. They spend millions every year just cleaning out piping systems or filtering out water. New York has it really bad, Florida as well. So there's a lot of opportunities there, but that's a very long-term project. I've got some really cool stories if you want to chat about it afterwards.
Okay, we got one online and then one for you there as well.
Another question online from Dave. What's your biggest challenge as a company, and how much have you raised so far?
What was the first, what challenge?
What's your biggest challenge as a company? There's a clarification from a question earlier, but that, and then how much have you raised so far?
So quick one, we raised 4 million US so far. And biggest challenge, probably that B2B segment. So those are really long sales cycles, that 2 to 3 years. So getting into showrooms, which we are at the moment, but it takes a really long time to get there. And that's why we think working with partners like Kohler and Teka will help us get there. Manufacturing is always a problem. I'm sure you all heard tariffs happening. We currently manufacture in China, but we're moving things over to Thailand at the moment to avoid that. So right in the middle of that, and we'll have to see what happens.
That's my question. And the last question.
I understand it, and I might be incorrect. The reason municipalities are banning the carburetors is because of fat icebergs clogging up the pipes. Is that accurate? Is that the main reason? And secondly, how does your system, I presume the bags as opposed to the liquid that washes down, how does your system address the fat bergs if you work?
Yeah, I think I've spoken to a few plumbers, some plumbers that actually go into the piping in cities and clean them out. And they do call them fat bergs because it is a giant, it looks like a giant iceberg of fat, but it's everything. Yes, fat is part of it, but just all that food waste just gets stuck in that fat with it as well. So it's really the leading cause there. So our device separates everything out. If it's solid, it'll separate it, it'll keep it in the bucket. And anything that's solid is really what's going to get those pipes stuck further down.
So fat could still go through the liquid?
If you put in like really like high temperature fat, it'll go through. But we have a big warning label that tells people, you know, wait, let it cool down. Even if you just put it in your sink, and it'll cool down pretty quickly, and that catches everything and keeps it out of the piping system.
And I gotta say, I used to have a carburetor, and then now I don't, and it's really hard to go back to not having a carburetor, so I really like this product. All right, next up, I'd like to introduce Jeff to tell us more about Voronoi. So Jeff, I'll hand over the controls to you and let you take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jeff Desjardins. I'm the founder and CEO of Visual Capitalist. Does anybody know Visual Capitalist? We got some people. If you've ever seen data storytelling online, if you've seen beautiful charts or infographics, Visual Capitalist, that's what we've been doing for the last 13 years. We're a creator that creates that kind of content. And over that time frame, we noticed all kinds of problems with the ecosystem, especially as it's blown up. And so over the last 18 months, we've incubated this company, Voronoi. I'm going to tell you all about it. Every day, the world publishes 1 million new charts. And so these charts have 3 different problems. Well, they have many more, but I'm highlighting 3 here. One of them is that they're not all discoverable in the same place. So if you think of something like videos before YouTube, they were all scattered about. 2 is that users can't trust what they see in a chart. So if you're seeing a chart in a random place, you don't know the data behind it, you don't know the sources behind it, you don't know if it's coming from a trustworthy source. It might be presented out of context, something like that. And then the third thing is that all the creators that actually create these charts, they can't monetize in any way. And so one of the other previous presenters touched on the YouTube ecosystem. And so this is kind of YouTube is very good at monetizing, but the creators in the space that we're talking about, right now they don't even have a platform to monetize. And so Voronoi is an app that we've built. It's a platform that makes the world's data more discoverable. And so you can download it right now. I'll show you more about that in a minute here, but it's enabling the new creator economy. And so it's a place where creators can go to share their charts and data visualizations, and users can find data about basically anything that you want to find data about. Importantly also, this is creating a new fundamental data layer that we're getting from all this data coming, and over time that's going to be much more valuable and monetizable. So Voronoi allows you to discover, follow, share, collect data about different topics through visual data visualizations, and right now you can download it on the stores. The MVP is available. And this is a little bit on our traction, how users have found the platform so far. So there's 3 things I want to point out here. One is that on the very left, if you look at our one-day users, these are people that have looked at the last day and gone on the mobile platform. It's been increasing by 22% each month, and it's been kind of hockey sticking over the last few months here. Then on the next chart, you can see the 30-day users. So we've had almost 200,000 people on the platform in the last 30 days. And then if you look on the right here, you can see that users really like the platform. The average star rating is about 4.5, and the NPS is about 50. So people really like the platform and they're using it. So how do we get here? Well, we're creators ourselves. And In the process of building Visual Capitalist, which has gone up to about $4 million of revenue US a year, we encountered all kinds of problems, and we talked to other creators. And so using our experience and talking to other creators that build charts and data visualizations, we built this platform from scratch to build it as we would want to experience it as a creator. And so it has all these different things, which I won't get into here. But our 5-year vision is that if you want to share data, especially public-facing data, this is the platform where you want to share it. We want to be the de facto place where people share and where people look up data. We want it to be where people talk about data being released and where they see it. And so we think that we can scale. Right now we have about 100 creators. By the end of next year, we're expecting to have thousands of creators, but we want to scale this up to 100,000 creators and 200 million users, a really, really big platform. And as we get bigger, it creates more more monetizable data in the process. And so the further we get along, the more data we have, and there's all kinds of things that we can do with that. This is just a little bit on the business model. So you can see on the left, we're starting with subscriptions and platform fees for creators and things like that. As it gets bigger, we're moving more towards the data marketplace, API access kind of stuff. It really needs to have, it's about what stage of monetization is right at the right time. So in the end, it's going to be all of these things contributing. Our team built Visual Capitalist. You can meet 3 of us back there after the presentation. One other thing that's quickly worth noting is that we also added Marty Wiener onto our advisory board. He was the CTO of Reddit. He helped scale Reddit, and also he was the founding engineer at Pinterest. He helped scale both of those companies technically, so he's a big name. Quick on our roadmap, we're trying to scale up to 5 million users. We have monetization is kind of the next big thing in the pipeline that we're adding in here, which I can talk all about. And then lastly, just the raise that we're doing is $3.5 million US, and we're raising to get to $6 million of revenue run rate and 5 million monthly active users. And you can download the app with that QR code if you like. And then just the final note that I'll mention is that all of these big platforms that you see, they seem obvious in hindsight. So YouTube, we could still have videos today without a YouTube. We could still have live streaming without a Twitch. But it's these platforms that recognize the opportunity of putting it all together in one place, and that's where the money's made. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Jeff. All right, so we've got a question here with Thalzel. We'll start off with you.
Hi, you skipped over it, but I would like to know more about the monetization strategy, please.
So the monetization is, there's 3 different levels as the platform gets bigger. But to start, the monetization that we're implementing in the next few months here, there's basically 3 different components to it. So platform fees, which is covered right there at the top, that's essentially creators going on the platform. We're creating monetization options for them. It's actually kind of similar to the previous presentation by the folks that were creating the operating system for YouTube. These people, right now, they don't have a way to monetize. And so basically, we would take just a small percentage of all of their monetization. So that's the platform fee side. The second thing is that we're creating a subscription product that would allow you to create a data feed in the way that you want to customize it and personalize it. And so that would be, right now, we're just calling that Voronoi Pro. But that would essentially be, that's a subscription product. So that would be another component to this early monetization. And then the last thing is, we have many millions of views on the platform already. We're expecting to 10x the amount of views that we see on the platform this year. And so there's advertising options kind of as a secondary monetization stream there as well.
Great, yes, 2 hands went up. We'll go Abdul, and then to Ryan in the back.
The Visual Capitalist, what is the relation between the Visual Capitalist and this company?
Yeah.
Are you bringing any of that media and that platform, or if you can go expand on that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so we've built this company internally within Visual Capitalist as kind of like an incubated idea that we wanted to build and see how it did. And then once it reached a point where we're like, okay, it's going well, then let's set it free, right? And so we're in the process right now of we've spun it out, and basically it's going to be its own entity, and that's what we're raising the investment round in. And yeah, so there is, our goal is for this company to obviously be the platform that we've been talking about on some of the slides here, and for Visual Capitalist to be simply a creator on the platform. Hopefully the best creator on the platform, but we want to unleash and see what else is possible. We think that there's so much potential for creators out there.
Yeah, I saw the raise was 3.6. I don't know if I saw valuation or if I just missed it.
Yeah, good question. It's 3.5 USD. The valuation we're going to allow to be set by sort of whatever investor is able to lead the round, basically. So we have some stuff in mind based on the previous round that we rose. So previously we had two angels come into Visual Capitalist before we incubated this new company, and this company at the time was valuated at about 15 million Canadian dollars. So this is about a year ago, with the rest of Visual Capitalist being valued at about 10 million. And so as we spin it out, that's kind of the minimum benchmark that we're thinking about in terms of where it's going from there.
Got it. And it's pre-revenue right now in terms of that?
Currently pre-revenue, yeah.
And so the traction that you're going on is obviously you've had some success with there's been a lot of folks utilizing the app currently. Like, if you want to stay in like the range for your round at 3 point, like your valuation is going to have to be quite high. Do you see any concerns with that in terms of pre-revenue currently or optics around that?
Yeah, I mean, when we're thinking about this stuff, we're thinking about the way that we've monetized as a creator in the past as Visual Capitalist. So, and then from the monetization perspective, we've also gone sort of three different routes to basically try and de-risk that side of things. So the three different ways are: one is that we obviously built Visual Capitalist previously and monetized that. Second is that we actually did a Kickstarter to build this platform to begin with the Visual Capitalist audience. We said, do you guys want to get involved? They said, absolutely. We raised about $300,000 through rewards on this platform through Kickstarter. It's the sixth most funded app in history on there. And then the third way is that obviously there's a creator aspect to the ecosystem as well. So we have to scale creators and users at the same time. And so we launched a program called the Creator Program through Visual Capitalist to basically see if creators wanted to monetize their stuff and they wanted that exposure. And so we've had hundreds of creators get their work published through there. We've paid out over $100,000 to them to show them or to help them monetize. That's just an early stage thing, but it shows that there's demand on sort of both sides of the platform. Yeah, and then in terms of valuation, I mean, we're open to seeing sort of what kind of the experts are penning it at. We're not too precious about it. We want to see where it goes.
Thank you. A couple online or one online?
Question online from Pave. Do you control the content quality? Does your platform help create/generate content with AI?
Okay, I love these questions. So two-part question there. The first part is about content quality. So this is the most important thing for us, for our users, and from a creator standpoint. So if you're a creator and you're going onto this platform, what you want to do is you want the platform to elevate you so that you are now trusted and people can look at your content and know that they're able to trust it and get value out of it. And so what we do, and this is kind of a neat thing about data visualization, is that we require creators to upload the data behind something. We require them to upload the sources, and then we obviously require the visuals that they're uploading as well. And then we match the three things together to make sure that they all match together and that they have that quality level right now. So right now, that's what we're doing. Later on, that's going to be more driven by AI. But for now, we're doing it on a manual basis through the editorial team that has built Visual Capitalist. And then later on, yes, AI is a big part of this. Couldn't really get into it through this, but as we have more and more visualizations and data on the platform, it means that we have, not only do we have a ton of data, but we also have all these visuals that we can learn from and train, and we can basically eventually, we're going to have this feed of visuals that no one else will have access to, that we can build an AI model around so that people can build visualizations faster and better and in different ways.
Last question, Serena, did you have a question?
Yeah, we're trying to figure out what kind of users maybe you attracted to your platform. And yeah, so what kind of ecosystem you're trying to create? It's like, if you got YouTube, you got your TikTok, and they all get their own users, So what kind of ecosystem you are trying to create? What kind of people will want to come to the platform? Okay, I'm going to generate some chart data and going to make some money. And what kind of people will come to your platform and say, okay, I'm going to buy some data from your platform?
Okay, so what is, why do users come to the platform is sort of the main gist of the question. So over 13 years of building Visual Capitalist, we built our audience too. We have about 12 million people that visit our website each month right now. So it's decently big. It's not as big as many of the other big players out there, but it's quite significant in size. If you add that in and you add all the other creators that are out there that are creating amazing data visualizations and charts out there, we think that there's hundreds of millions of users that want to get access to this every day. And so the user actually is going to change over time that's visiting the platform. At the beginning, it tends to be more, so it's kind of like a crossing the chasm type play. So at the beginning, the user is going to be typically more white collar, someone who's interested in where the world's going, what are the trends around the world, what is, look what's happening in politics, what's that kind of thing, right? But over time, we see this as being a little bit more mass market. People that are, right now people on Reddit will post, oh, I've applied to 300 jobs and received 292 rejections and 8 interviews. And they're showing like a chart that shows their progress in doing that job. We think that people are going to be creating content like that. That's kind of for everybody. So a much wider use case later on. Every hobby, every single area where you can visualize data, sports, everything. That's much later on though.
Thanks so much, Jeff. The last presenter I'd like to introduce you to today is Patrick to tell us more about Atlantis Fibre. So Patrick, I'll hand over to you to take it away here.
Hello folks, so 2 major challenges are reshaping our future: industrial waste management and aging infrastructure. At Atlantis Fibre, we're turning both into opportunities by transforming waste into high performance, sustainable materials. My name is Patrick McConnell, I'm the founder and CEO of Atlantis Fibre. Every year, over 400 million tires reach their end of life in North America alone. For decades, tire-derived fuel has been burned in cement production, but bans on burning and new heatless cement technologies are rapidly shrinking disposal options, just as tire waste keeps growing. At the same time, our aging infrastructure is failing, especially in seismic zones, where retrofitting is costly and carbon intensive. What if the one solution could solve both problems? NextGuard is our flagship product, transforming tire waste into sustainable, cost-effective, and high-performance retrofit material. It acts like a rubberized steel, reinforcing and protecting concrete. Our proprietary fiber refining and efficient toll manufacturing make it scalable and unique. As far as performance is concerned, these images are the results of the Fukushima 9.1 magnitude earthquake simulation, one well with NextGuard applied and one without. This is very much proof of NextGuard's unmatched performance under extreme conditions. NextGuard reinvents seismic retrofitting, making it cheaper, faster, and more durable for federal, municipal, and commercial buildings in seismic zones. This 30,000 square foot Salt Lake City retrofit, which is a key beachhead project for us, cost $7 million with traditional methods. NextGuard does it for $1.5 million, which is 5 times cheaper. It's also 6 times faster, cutting timelines from 12 weeks to just 2, minimizing disruption. Lastly, NextGuard is twice as durable as comparable applications, and it lowers investment risk by cutting probable maximum loss by as much as 50%, which would save millions over the lifespan of a particular building. In our first 2 to 3 years, we're targeting high seismic regions like California, the Pacific Northwest, and Utah, where the immediate market opportunity exceeds $3 billion. Based on our current sales pipeline, early partnerships, and adoption trends, we're projecting $50 million in revenue by year 5 through a combination of direct sales, licensing, and distribution agreements. With unmatched cost, performance, and quality, NextGuard is patent pending in over 30 countries. Our proprietary manufacturing and strong margins enable flexible pricing, creating a powerful competitive moat. Our team brings deep expertise in engineering, sustainability, sales, and marketing, covering every aspect of innovation and growth. We develop cutting-edge technologies, build sales platforms, and scale businesses globally, ensuring NextGuard's success for the future. So we're entering the market through retrofit contractors, engineers, and large construction firms committed to early adoption via paid pilots. To ensure efficient growth, we're using trusted toll manufacturers for production and distribution, avoiding upfront facility costs. By year 2, we'll expand into larger projects like the 30,000 square foot retrofit project I just showed, unlocking public and private infrastructure with insurance-backed support. Atlantis has built a $5 million sales pipeline with key commitments from Starpatch, Done, Big D, Construction, driving our go-to-market strategy. We're also developing sales and distribution opportunities with Lafarge, Layton Construction, and Fortifiber, leveraging their customers' networks and market reach. On the investment side, strategic grants from partners like Liberty Tire Recycling have helped us keep our cap table clean, ensuring room to scale with new investor capital when the timing is right. With 85% gross margins and early adoption, we're positioned for positive cash flow. In year one, we project $5 million in revenue, scaling to over $50 million by year 5 as we expand across seismic sustainable construction markets. So today we're raising a seed round of between $750,000 and $1.5 million on a $10 million pre-money valuation. This will fund 18 months of our growth as we generate revenue. About 1/3 of this capital funds paid pilot projects in Salt Lake City, while the rest supports inventory, sales scaling, engineering, and team expansion. A bottom-up approach with a clear and attainable path to our ideal ticket size within the target markets. And while not factored into our year 1 projections, we anticipate select larger scale projects which would significantly accelerate revenue and growth. With high margins, we anticipate immediate positive cash flow, positioning us for future funding to scale even faster. I thank you very much for your time.
Just steal this here. Did I hear someone's timer go off with like the exact 5 minutes there? Absolutely nailed it. Just before we go to the first question with Mike here, I just want to ask a burning question because I wanted to ask this with most of the companies here. But I'm curious if you can tell us how the current economic environment and the looming potential tariffs that are coming will impact a business like this.
That's a great question. And obviously we'll see what happens in the next 30 days. I know it's 10 times for everyone. So one way to combat that, and actually our main chief aim, I mentioned Star Patch Concrete Products, which is our toll manufacturer right here in Vancouver, BC. So shipping distribution, of course, in the States will be an issue. We have secondary plans to start a toll manufacturing plant within Salt Lake City, which is one of our target markets. Obviously, eliminating tariffs or any of those particular issues. Obviously, distribution is a lot cheaper. We have as many as 12 sites within the US alone that we are targeting for either toll manufacturing partners. I mentioned in year 3 in our financials that at about that particular time would make sense for us to build our own facilities, driving down costs to the extent that we can. But toll manufacturers may be a long-term solution for us in that regard.
I think I was paying close attention, but I had trouble really understanding what NextGuard is, where it comes from, how you make it,
Sure.
and what the application is. Can you just go over that again? I was a little bit too fast for me.
And I'll also mention, he's got some of the products at the back, so check them out after as well.
So yeah, it's a great question, and it gets asked a lot. It's tough to sort of break down into a relatively short period of time, but we take, basically tires are broken down into rubber, steel radial, and a fiber polymer material, which is largely landfilled or burnt is the best use case scenario for them worldwide. So with feedstocks growing all the time due to EVs, heavier cars, larger torque, this feedstock is increasing at an alarming rate. The channels for use and end use of production are being minimized all the time with bans on burning and just a number of other applications. Take this particular fiber, which is somewhat problematic. We refine it through our proprietary refining process. We give back to the tire industry what they really want, which is crumb rubber for their existing sales channels. The steel gets magnetized out and sold back to the steel industry for recycled sort of feedstock. Take this particular product, it goes on to about a 20 millimeter thick application. What's great about it is it has the elasticity of rubber, but the strength of steel. So concrete is really poor under tension. So it's good under compressibility, but this stuff has changed the game entirely and turned it into effectively a rubberized steel. It's extremely cost effective, carbon negative, and all the other features that I spoke of. Yeah, here's a good. So this is a simulation of the 9.1 magnitude earthquake. That collapsed in about 10 seconds. This lasted 5 minutes, so we had to crank the intensity up to 200% of the 9.1 magnitude event to get it to break. So, it's a blessing and a curse that it's very diverse. We can use it for bridge decks, we can use it for building retrofit, roads. We've done a lot of pilot work with Lafarge, for example. But you have to pick one avenue, obviously, or you stand like a flake standing up here, just sort of chasing squirrels, as it were. So, does that help? Okay. If you want to talk afterwards, I can show you some product samples.
Spray on?
It is, yeah. You can trowel it or spray it on. You can trowel it or spray it on. Spraying on is faster. You can cover a lot more ground in that regard. Correct. Okay, fair enough.
Like I said, check it out at the back as well. It's got some of the products there, but yeah, give it some more details there. Next question here, yeah.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Since it is illegal in Canada since September last year to make sustainability claims without proof, I was wondering if I can ask one aspect. So you say it's carbon negative. What proof do you have about it?
We've done a lot of in-house testing. We've talked to a lot of carbon sequestration firms, Climate Co. and a few others. To be honest, although we're confident in these particular claims, it's a good question. And one of the actual, I'd say $50,000 of this particular spend will go into supporting these claims through IBC and ICC certification, additionally, International Building Code and so forth. So it's a great question, and it's something that we're actively working on.
We have a question at the back here.
Can you touch on the ROI sort of, I guess, opportunities for investors, given, these are pretty lofty revenue projections? Is this dividend paying? Is there an exit? What's the win for investors here?
Yeah, we think it's we're looking at a 5-year exit. It is lofty revenue, but fortunately we're working with extremely affordable commodities. We've done an insane amount of market research with applicators, large construction companies that love this and really want to use it. We're just fortunate to have COGS that are pretty much unheard of. An example like Liberty Tire Recycling that I mentioned is the largest tire recycler in North America by far. They put $300,000 into us. They've mentioned very directly to us that once you get to an acceptable standard, we would look at acquiring you. That's what they do. They essentially acquire all the tire manufacturing recycling companies in North America. That's one. Big Cement, we're talking to Lafarge regularly with pilots with them. CRH, we're doing a large infrastructure pilot with in the next couple of months. But $4 or $5 million into successful applicants that get through these particular stages. So likely it's one of those as an exit. Yep.
We got Ivan for the question there.
Great presentation, thank you. You mentioned that, or I understood you have 3 sources of revenue, one being the fiber, the magnetized steel, and then the final product. What's the ratio, and how dependent is final profitability from all 3 of those firing at full?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. So I could have been more clear. When the tire gets recycled, it gets broken down into those 3 major constituents. We take the fiber, which is by far the most problematic component of that particular tire. So we don't actively recycle whole tires. We take the process that we need, proprietarily refine it, and incorporate that with our particular mix for the end product. So I didn't have time to get into it tonight, but I can talk to you later. We have a multiple licensing model with equipment leasing we developed for this exact application. So the revenue streams are about 3 to 4-fold, but again, it's probably a little bit lengthy for this Q&A. If you don't mind, we can talk about it later.
Pave Online, what's the cost of your product compared to traditional materials?
Good question. So our 2 major competitor applications will be shotcrete shear walls and carbon fiber mesh. Carbon fiber mesh runs upwards of $150 per square foot. Very expensive, time consuming. Carbon fiber mesh is not, it's very carbon intensive to make as well. Those are the 2 main competitors. Comparatively, if you look at a shotcrete shear wall, that's about $55 to $60 placed per square foot. We can come in at 50. We've been given very good price validation. 50 would be very competitive. We can go as low as 30 to really kind of smoke out the competition and build the base that way. We've also been told that people are willing to pay $70 for premium applications, such as the government retrofit work they talked about.
I've seen a lot of hands go up here. We do have the next one as Ryan in the back there, if you still have a question. You're okay. Okay, we'll go to Abdul at the front here.
Just to clear, you go on top of whatever, like if I have can it go into the mix? Like if
we can. So if you look at precast
concrete,
applications,
yes.
We can do that certainly. But right now,
and would that affect the strength of it, or
if you take a tilt-up building, which there's a ton of being built all over the place for the Amazons of the world and data centers, the typical 6-inch slab we can reduce to about 3 or 4 with this particular application. It's not the main thrust, but it's something that we get a lot of questions about. So it is a good question.
Okay, and the last question, I'll go to online here.
Does the quality/longevity after the first application go down?
I think the best way to answer that is after the first application. It's probably a durability question, I would assume.
So. Or maybe like if you use it again, you will reapply it. First application, second application.
Yeah, so it basically effectively doubles the durability from about 50 to 60 years to 80 years. So if and when you would want to re-retrofit this, we can build on top of or easily tear off this particular material to refresh that particular coating. Typically by then though, the entire building would be demolished anyways at that stage. So it's not much of a factor, but it's a good question.
So yes, thank you all for your great questions. If anyone has any feedback, I would appreciate it. These as well. I know you're all eager to get to the wonderful spread that Manning Elliott has put out for us today and have some drinks. Can I get everyone's attention for 2 seconds? I'm going to put my teacher hat on here. Hey, thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. We have our next event coming up on March 5th next month, and it's going to be hosted at the SFU Venture Labs. So make sure to get your ticket ahead of time. Reach out if you have any questions. You can do that all through our website, get all the details there as well.